and then they met.
I fell in love. I mean, I came unglued. You know, this was just a wonderful person, and I still think she is.
Well, you're wonderful.
They made their life together at Cape Sable Light for 26 years.
She knew how to enjoy a stormy day, or 10 days of fog, or 20 if it so happened to be that. And and I as well grew up in that sort of situation. So yeah, this they always say opposites attract, but in our case, I know the same upbringing played a wonderful part in the wonderful relationship and a happy experience.
A childhood growing up on an island light station where the families are the only families of the community, that's your entire world. I think that fitted us for a relationship that would be the same through our marriage, because that's the way we lived all through our married life at the station. And you have to be, as he said, contented and imaginative and resourceful. Certainly just to be used to that kind of life does smooth the rough edges of certain experiences. We don't get bored, we don't get lonesome, we don't take out our frustrations on each other, because in such a close relationship, to do that would really damage everybody.
Sid learned just how difficult the job of lightkeeper was.
Lightkeeping in the 50s was still a 24-hour job, and everything was manually done, and there was an awful lot of work involved in it. And once we were married, Betty June got in on it, and she helped paint, and also she could light the light in case we were doing something else. It wasn't a matter of throwing a switch. There was no electricity. It was kerosene vapor lights and mantles and all this sort of thing.
Betty June began to appreciate the fears her mother must have had once she herself became a mother of 2.
When we had children of our own, we became quite paranoid at times, Mummy especially, and fevers, you take it over and over again for a child that is sick, and wonder if it's time to take the child ashore and so on. But the children, the same as when I was a child, they weren't worrying. They thought that Mom and Dad were going to cope with this illness.
Betty June homeschooled the children with the aid of correspondence courses, as she herself had been taught. But eventually they decided to leave the island for the mainland to give their children more opportunities.
It was a special way of life, and I'm just thankful that I was allowed to be part of it. I truly do.
As for the lights, they would prefer to see them torn down than allowed to become empty, wrecked shells.
I think take them down nicely and clean up the spot where they were. If if they can't be used in any other way.
Today, all that remains at Cape Sable is the tower. The Smiths no longer wish to visit.
The building is painted on the outside and looks okay from a distance, but anyone that would say, oh, we're going to go see that tallest lighthouse and it's a national heritage property, it isn't what they're expecting to see. You wouldn't invite anyone to go there to see it if it was your light or ever had been your light. It's depressing.
The light doesn't mean anything to me anymore because it's not my light. It's a new light. It's only 40 years old.
Bernice Goodick's memories are colliding with reality. The house she lived in is long gone. And so was her light. It was destroyed by lightning in the late 50s. The rest of the buildings are crumbling, but some things remain.
Here's my name and Mum's name that my father chiseled in. That was my mother. That's me. Dad took a chisel. Oh, so 100 years from now, people say, I wonder who they were. Just for, we always carved our names in trees, too. We never had like BG loves so-and-so because just wasn't anybody here to love. But no, we carved our names in the trees. We want to leave our mark on the world, I guess. It was nice here. It was, I can't describe it. You have to be born on an island to know what it's like not to be lonely, not to miss things that you never had. It's like my husband saying to me, you were 16 before you had bakery bread. And I said, well, what did I miss? Or you didn't know what hot dogs were. No, but we had deer meat and roast beef and roast mutton and chickens and geese and ducks and fish and lobster whenever we wanted it. And we ate high on the hog. I was Dad's baby, and I was a tomboy. And I remember at night, he'd say, well, we got to go up, get ready to light the light. And we'd go get our gallons, 5-gallon cans of kerosene to carry up to the top of it, which was higher than that. You'd take the long rods of the bottom, so she'd start turning again, go up and fill her up with kerosene. He would pump up the pressure she needed to keep her turning. Then he would light the mantle with wood alcohol. I always considered Dad a lifesaver. We never got any medals or anything like that, but I'm sure if we didn't directly save a life, indirectly we made people comfortable knowing that they had arrived home.
Bernice is saddened by what she sees, but she wonders if anyone can afford to preserve lights in such isolated spots.
I have spent the last 5 years helping keep the Sandy Point Lighthouse where it is, because I live in Sandy Point, and we heard that they were going to A, tear it down, or B, sell it to probably foreign ownership. So we all got together and I started attending the Lighthouse Alternative meetings, which became the Beacon meetings. Met a lot of people in the Coast Guard. Can understand their point of view. There's no money. You have a choice of keeping the lighthouses in repair or keeping up your search and rescue. Search and rescue is much more important. So it's up to individual people like us to keep our lighthouses. Well, I probably will never be back, but I don't want to come back to the light and see it like this. It's like seeing a proud lady taken down by senile dementia or something, unable to look after herself. This is what this is like. It's like an old lady that is unable to look after herself, but in her mind, she knows what's going on. I don't really want to come back. I've seen all I need to see.
The fog is rolling over the bay. It drifts my heart so far away. Softer and kinder than the light. Takes what's sharp and wraps it wide.